Hey guys, Journey to Truth is going to Hawaii. Join us in 2026 for Journey to Truth's first ever vacation conference on the Big Island at the beautiful Queen Emma Community Center in Kona. Enjoy Hawaii as we travel to sacred sites and connect with our Lemurian past and reactivate the land. It's time to get our bodies moving and take a boots-on-the-ground approach to the awakening. We'll also be making a trip to Volcano National Park to pay our respect to Pele, the goddess of fire. We'll then journey to the water for an ocean adventure with our multi-dimensional aquatic family. We'll gear up and head to the harbor as we set sail under the sun for an activating day on the water while we experience the Hawaiian ocean life like never before. Enjoy Hawaiian sunsets and walks on the beach while connecting with Soul Family and learning a few things from our amazing lineup of speakers. Aloha! Grab your ticket today at journeytotruth.online and join us for this once-in-a-lifetime activating getaway.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Just a quick reminder that tickets are available for our Hawaii conference in 2026 on the Big Island, April 20th through the 24th. We're going to be going to some sacred sites, going on some ocean adventures with dolphins and whales. It's going to be an amazing conference/retreat/vacation. So if you want to come hang out, go to journeytotruth.online and you can find all the information, and tickets are available there as well. And we're looking forward to it. It's our first time going overseas for an event, so come hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And today's guest is Rhiannon Heins from Australia, and she is the founder of Intuitive Rebirth. She is a best-selling author of The Keepers of the Light Codes and Intuitive Rebirth, which is also the name of her website. She is an intuitive channel, speaker, and a healer, and she has 15 years of experience practicing and teaching in the healing arts and so many more things that we're going to cover today. But welcome to the show, Rhiannon. We're happy to have you here with us.
Thanks so much, guys. It's really beautiful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So, I've been kind of going through your website and seeing what you do and some amazing healing modalities. Like, I love the concept of the keeper of the light codes and like fast tracking your highest timeline and all the stuff that you talk about. But something we were just touching on before we went live here was that you also specialize in entity clearings and energetic parasites and stuff like that, which is ultimately the root of a lot of the trauma and a lot of the issues that we deal with here on Earth. And when you're going through this type of awakening, obviously these are things that you can't ignore and you have to address. So I'd like to just turn it over to you and kind of let our audience know how you stumbled into this field and what that journey looked like for you. You can make it as short or as long as you'd like, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, well, if you asked me 10 years ago what I would love to be doing, I would have never said entity clearing and clearing energetic parasites. But here I am, and it turns out to be my greatest delight in my work. But the way my work all started was I've always been like a natural psychic channel. I've always had a really easy ability to just quiet my mind, go into my heart, and I've noticed that every time I'm there in my heart, I'm receiving messages. It's like my mind becomes so clear and open. I have this natural dialogue that is so easy for me to access, and over time that's strengthened into being very visual. And so my work really started there. And when I was working in energy work and doing sort of energy healing sessions on people, I really wanted to know how I could best serve them. And I knew I had this channel. So I was like, well, I'm just going to ask. Before they come, I'm going to sit in this in this space, and I'm gonna get really devotional to this person, not just to the person, but to their soul, to their highest aspect, and I'm gonna spend a moment in devotional prayer to their highest aspect and ask how I can serve them. And when I started to do that, what was coming through was really, like, wild. It was really wild, and I would just write it down, and it would be, I would be shown things like skin suits that they were wearing, that they've been carrying from other lifetimes, and how to help them step out of that. I would be shown plugs in their head, or little monsters that kind of live within their womb space, and I was shown all sorts of things that were present within their energy body. And I would ask in my channeling, how do I help to get rid of that? And then what I would be told is some sort of somatic emotional trauma that they were holding. So I started to develop a way of doing work that started on the very human level. People come in with all this pain, like relating to their boyfriend or their work or their health. It's just if they come in with this human pain. And we would start there just feeling the human pain. Like, fair enough. Life can be hard, right? Just feeling the human pain and going deeper and deeper and deeper into that. And the more we went through the layers of that human pain within the body, we would see or uncover like a root. And the root would be this very sort of shamanic entity, or this hook, or this plug-in. And once we got there, that's where the magic really happened. So this is the way I found myself doing work. And then I just thought, I have to teach this because it's so simple. Channel, feel, and get to the root. And that's what intuitive rebirth is. And here I am, just speaking about this and writing about this as much as I can. And yeah, that's where it all began.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Beautiful.
And whenever you say a hook, like this, like entity or this parasite is a hook, I know you're talking like metaphorically, but can you explain that a little more, what you actually see?
Yeah, sure. So just to kind of expand it out of where this starts, right? Of where this actually comes from is here, you guys, myself, your listeners, here we are as these souls who are committed to our assigned mission of remembering the infinite love that we came from, right?
Hmm.
Remembering the infinite love that we are. And when, as souls, we forget our assigned mission and we start to identify with this physical reality, this illusion, this dreamscape, and we start to engage with it as though it's the truth, people can become obsessed with this physical dreamscape, the maya, the illusion. And there are beings that are so obsessed with the physical dreamscape that they seek to control it and be essentially the god of the dream. The god of the dream. So these people are the people that you guys, talk about here, like that you guys expose. It's this parasitic class of shadow controllers that work to be gods of the dreamscape. So no matter what you call them, whether you call them the cabal or the deep state, there's a group of bloodlines, as you guys know, that are seeking to control and manipulate the dreamscape. And they know that others, souls who are connected to the assigned mission of remembering the truth and the love that we are, they want to sabotage that mission so they can stay in control of the dreamscape. And they do this through frequency, attacking through frequency. And through their intention, they can create frequency into form. So through rituals, through their intention, they can literally birth harmful frequency. They put it in music. They put it as some subconscious Netflix messages underneath your kids' cartoons. They put it in the EMFs, they put it in the food, and there are harmful frequencies that are being projected at the beautiful souls who are working to live their life. So for you guys, for me, these frequencies are now of no consequence because we can see them. They've been exposed, and we are no longer resonant with the attack. We're not resonant. We've done the work, and now we're vibrating somewhere very differently. And that it doesn't. We could stand in the middle of a demonic projection soup, and it wouldn't touch us. If actually, what we would do is we would harmonize and alchemize that with the love that we are.
I
But
absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, and that is 100% true. You're spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, but other people who are resonant, they don't know what's out there. They're putting the Netflix on for the kids. They're going through the McDonald's drive-through because they're busy and their thoughts are low. They haven't done any healing, and now every time they have a low thought, my life sucks. I suck. This sucks. I hate that person. That they become resonant with their projection, and literally like these this energetic parasite comes in it hooks into their energy field, and it starts to change the way they think, change the way they feel, and it starts to literally feed off the life force of that beautiful person. Yeah, so that's the hook.
That was
Yeah.
a highlight reel explanation. I mean, you
Totally.
nailed everything, but it was you were able to do that because you fundamentally understand it. And this is something I've been battling for a long time, these attacks and stuff, until I had to realize on my own, like, yeah, well, it's all up to me whether I rise above that or not. But there was a lot of beautiful lessons in that journey, and I have no regrets, and it's made me who I am. So anybody who is listening, who is under attack, like, just understand, like, the situation is trying to teach you something, and I think that's ultimately what we have to take away from it, because otherwise you'll just perpetuate that victimhood and you'll get stuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's such a beautiful message. And then additionally, it's like who we are in our truth is that we love. We're of love. We are love in our organic nature. And love alchemizes all things. So, like, we don't even need to master energy protection. We just need to remember the love that we are. And in that, we're immune. And then, obviously, as you said, remembering the love that we are takes us on a journey because we start to uncover all the aspects of us that we haven't loved. And that's why this is like a beautiful journey of empowerment, sovereignty.
Right. So
Yep.
tell me about the Keepers of the Light Codes. You wrote this book. Obviously, I assume, I have not read it, but we are the keepers of the light codes, and we have to remember that. But maybe you can explain what inspired that, and what that book was all about for you, because I mean, I love that term, the Keepers of the Light Codes.
Yeah. Do you know the funny thing about when someone asks me about a book, I'm going to be just so radically honest, is I can't remember what's in it. Like, I can't fundamentally remember what's in the books that I've written. And I'm so committed to the now that when I birthed something a few years ago, I'm like, who even wrote that? But at the time that I channeled that, I was not at the level of consciousness that was able to fully digest the messages that I was channeling. I had to get myself in such a pure channeled state to be able to write that, because as I was writing what was coming through, I would reread it and I would question it. Like, I'm not sure if that's true. But anyway, I committed I asked, is this pure truth? And it was like, get this book out there. And I did. And as the years go on, I understand what I channeled so much better now. And what the message of the Keepers of the Light Codes is it's for the perpetual need to grow, to ascend. Like, there was this obsession with ascension, getting higher and higher. And and becoming a better and better version of ourselves. So the book is the reminder, or it's the journey to take the reader to the part within themselves that is it. That is absolute wholeness, absolute perfection. You wouldn't look at a baby and think, this baby could be a little bit more ascended. You wouldn't look at a butterfly and think, this butterfly could be, on a little bit of a higher path here. Like, the nature of who we are is so exquisite and so perfect that once we attune to that, we stop holding on to all of the bullshit that keeps us in a low frequency existence. So even in me speaking that, it brings up a lot in the psyche of humanity. Even as I say that, it brings up the part of us that is like, oh, but my trauma, oh, but my unworthiness. And it starts to like bring all of these aspects of self that resist the notion of our perfection to the surface. So the journey of the keepers of the light codes is like speaking to the wholeness within the reader and allowing the layers of resistance to arise so that they can be dissolved.
Well, you sure did a good job remembering that for not remembering. So, um,
Yeah, but like the individual chapters I can't remember, but I remember the essence.
yeah, I love that. And, the light codes, like this is something that interests me, light language. I guess, would you relate that to light language? Are you or is that something entirely different to you?
Yeah, it's all the one, a light code to me is just any teaching, any frequency, absolutely anything that's allowing us to access and remember the light that we are. And light language, I feel like we need to come up with a new collective term, than light language. But light language is a huge part of humanity's remembering of that light and that wholeness. Because as we heal, as we do the work that we were discussing, the deep trauma work where you're allowing yourself to feel and let go of everything that we're holding, our channel starts to open. And what I mean by the channel is when we sit on the earth, we are conductors of energy, and the earth and her love can literally rise up through our body, rise up through our belly, through our chest, through our throat, into our mind space, and connect us to the all that is. And as we heal, we become open channels, and our throats become an aspect of that. And we are able to speak the frequency of the all that is, of the great mother, the great father of all that is. We can speak that as frequency through our bodies. And this frequency, this sound frequency, can bring harmony and healing into the five senses, into the human experience. So as we heal, and so many people are deeply, deeply healing and unlocking their throat, there is an explosion of awakened people who are able to channel these sounds. And I know that a lot of people, they think that they're speaking interdimensional light language and channeling through Pleiadians or Arcturians, and there is truth in that. But actually, the most common thing that I am seeing in my sessions and in my work is a very common thread between the sounds that everyone is making. And the sounds are like these kind of sounds, right? La and ah, and the tongue is moving. It's this sound over and over again. And when I feel that, it's reminding me or reminding us that we're all of the one, that we're all of the one, and that we're actually all of the one sound, and that the ancient languages that we used to speak upon this earth, whether we're Druidic, like my Welsh lineage taking me all the way back to the Standing Stones in North Wales, whether we're Indian, whether we're African, whether we're from the Middle East, whether we're from Indigenous Australia, at the root, we're making the same sounds over and over. And amen, when, la is the sounds of the divine. And as we allow the divinity to open us, we're freeing our tongues and we're connecting to the one sound. And that to me is light language. It's not translatable. It's just the pure sound frequency of truth within our body.
Absolutely. It's kind of similar to laughter. We speak all these different languages, but we all laugh the same. And that's kind of a silly observation, but it's something that I noticed as a kid whenever I was learning foreign language and stuff. So um, it's true. There's something in that laughter that's universal, and that those light codes. I got a download, or I had this vision while I was on mushrooms, like this hero's journey years ago, and it was about the light language coming to the planet, and no matter how you channel it through vocalizations, through symbols, whatever it is for you, it's basically acting as like a system update for the planet, basically. Like, they likened it to a simulation in the sense that, like, let's say a website or a video game, there's coding behind it. There's ones and zeros and all this coding, and to update the game, you have to update the coding. Well, the light language is like the coding for our reality, and everything has coding, including emotions and words. So, like, even feelings have light language codes that need to be upgraded and updated. Even words like joy and sacred, were things that were shown to me, and I'm like, "Oh, so we're actually just performing a huge system update on the planet right now, and everyone bringing in those codes is assisting in that." So I just found that very interesting, and it kinda dovetails perfectly for with what you were just saying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love the way you've just described that. That's really, really beautiful. And yeah, I 100% agree. And what I see as well in, like, when I run big retreats and the collective energy gets really high because there's a lot of incredible souls in the room, and in those spaces, that's where I see the most amazing healings take place because basically just because the love in the room is so beautiful. And what I see in those moments is sometimes literally like what I call factory reset. It's like off, on, and, in those moments when people become so surrendered to the present moment, like so deeply surrendered, and they've let go of all sense of self. And in that moment, their body is vibrating on the floor with their aliveness and their kundalini. They're just completely surrendered. And then their jaw and their tongue starts to go really loose and soft. And this uncontrollable speech that comes through, and it's what I was describing before. It's kind of like tongues, it's uncontrollable, and you can see that you couldn't make it up. Like, their body is being reset, and in when I see those kind of healing experiences, that person's life is never the same because they've the way you've described it so perfectly, Tyler. It's just like they've had their code, their whole system just completely reset.
Mhm. Yeah, and then, with that comes, it depends on, it's specific to the individual, but there's this healing journey, which I know this is what you do, right? And you help people break that programming. And so when this stuff does start to happen to you, it requires physical change too. And then that's when the self-sabotaging thoughts come in, thoughts that aren't your own, the energetic parasites. That's when you have to start dealing with those things. So it's not like just because you're getting these light language codes and stuff, that doesn't mean that you're like ready for the next phase, but you're obviously there at that point, and like your higher self knows you can handle it. But it's still up to you to make that change, because change takes change. And this is something like that, I've been dealing with, and I just moved, and I'm doing a lot of like spiritual transformation. And those negative thoughts and those self-sabotaging thoughts and patterns, they want to come back and haunt you right when you're about to have a breakthrough. And I think this is where maybe you could give some advice on how you help people deal with that.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing that you've taken such a big leap of faith and you're just living your most beautiful life. But I think the more we start to do the deep healing work, the deep inner work, start to do those big mushroom journeys like you did, start to do the big ayahuasca journeys, and the big healing experiences, whatever it is that you're doing, we do fundamentally change, right? We fundamentally change. But then the crazy thing about it is that the hardest part is our integration of that and our lived experience. Because as we start to vibrate higher and higher at more truth and more love, we start to exist and navigate our physical reality in a whole different way. Because all of a sudden, we're vibrating with miracles and we're vibrating with absolute divine synchronicity, which means that everything that we've ever wanted is so close. It is just around the corner, but how we're going to get there is not in the way that we've ever relied upon before. It's not going to come from any amount of effort or struggle in the physical. It's going to require something which is much more terrifying, which is a complete leap of faith into the unknown, despite not knowing outcomes. So usually, as you're describing, Tyler, these fears that come up or these thoughts that kind of want to keep us stuck, it's usually these attachments to what was, the need to control, the need to hold on. But when we just let go, we get into nature, we sit on the earth and we look at the sky and we look at the clouds and we say, I'm here. I trust. I let go of all control. I surrender. Show me what I need to do. In that moment, there is no struggle. There is no worry. There is nothing that you need to hold on to. And we get guided. Once we keep doing the inner work, we get guided in a way that is so spectacular that what is around the corner, where we are being taken, is beyond anything that we can plan for. So my advice is that if you're listening to this, like, and you're starting to do this deep inner work and you're fundamentally changing, your greatest challenges that come up in your mind now are probably going to be the need to let go of control, trust, and surrender.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. When I moved, well, before I moved, I had control of my life. I lived by myself. Everything was my way. I just uprooted my life, moved to a place where I'm living with roommates now, which is something I didn't want to do. But with that came a whole set of unknowns, and I didn't have control anymore. And that's when that stuff started coming back. So I had to do precisely what you just described. Is I was like, I have to let go of the need to control my life right now, and this, like, that beauty in the unknown, and that's when these opportunities can present themselves. And so I just absolutely, I think that's wonderful what you're doing to help people. And Aaron, I know you've been sitting over there quiet. Did you have anything that you'd like to chime in with?
I mean, this is all amazing. And yeah, that's so spot on. That the second you stop trying to control everything and you trust the universe and you get in alignment with the universe or with God, that's when the magic happens. And it's kind of like, because control, the root of that is fear, right? So when people have a lot of fear in their system, that's when they want to control everything, because you feel basically out of control on the inside. So you try to control everything on the outside. But somebody that, when you are operating on a love frequency and you don't have a lot of fear, you're more at peace. You're more like, hey, I'm going to do the best I can, but whatever happens, happens. And you just kind of innately know that everything is in divine timing and happens in divine order, because that's all that can happen, because we live in a divine universe. That's just how it works, right? Um, and it's kind of like it when you wake up, when you get to a certain level of consciousness, you realize how silly and just insane it is to think that we actually had control, or we can control anything, because you're not in control of anything at all, ever. And but that being said, free will is a factor, and you always have free will, and you always have a choice. Um, and every second of every day, you're making choices. So the magic is when you can, and this takes, for most people, it takes healing to get to a point where you're in a healthy place where where you're like, okay, this is what I really want from the deepest, truest part of me, not from my superficial ego self that thinks it wants things all the time, right? And that's where you get off track. It's like, this is both what I want and what the universe, wants, but you gotta get in alignment with that, right? In your higher self or whatever. So it's like, you're constantly kind of like, people talk about the law of attraction, right? Or manifestation. And it's like, well, yes, but you got to make sure you're in alignment with the highest good and with the universe. Because otherwise, what are you manifesting from the ego? And you're manifesting things that aren't actually good for you, that you don't actually want. You might think you do, but you don't, and it's not actually good for you. And it can cause a lot of unnecessary suffering and frustration.
Right.
So it's like getting in that state of like, it's like, okay, here's the core, because you can say like, oh, I want this, I want that. And it's like, oh, I want money. I want a nice car, a nice house, a nice job, blah, 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 a nice relationship. But there's always something underneath that of why you want that thing. It's like, no, you don't want that thing. You want what that thing's going to give you, or what you think it's going to give you. And at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want love. We all want peace. And we all want joy. And we all want connection. Right?
Right. Yeah. That's
and
beautifully
it's
said.
like,
yeah.
The universe knows how to bring you those things in the best way possible. And the way it's like your highest excitement is going to be there, right? Your ego doesn't. It always thinks it knows the best way, but it doesn't. So it's like getting in that state of like trusting, like, okay, bring me the next step of what I need. And then you just go from there, right? So I don't know if you have more, I know you have more insight on that. So
I think you just described that so beautifully, and yeah, I agree. And even manifestation, it's kind of, I think it's, we've outgrown it really as a practice, because it's going to happen. What we're here to experience as souls, what we long for so deeply on a soul level, the deepest longings, that's what we signed up for. So it's going to happen. We literally signed up to this incarnation for that experience. So the idea that we have to do some kind of practice, to manifest some sort of house or to manifest some sort of car, it seems to me, or feels to me, like a limiting experience. Because what our soul truly longs for is going to bring to us everything we've ever wanted and beyond.
right.
So I think, the real question is like, what do I actually what would I long to experience in this incarnation? Like, what do I ache to experience in this incarnation? And I actually feel that that's where people struggle the most, because people are so confused and distorted by external influence that they don't even know what would light them up. And if they even get the glimpse of what that could be, all of their sabotaging thoughts and limitations around what's possible come in to put a sort of lid on that. But, when we get to the point where we realize that our life is only shaped or limited by our perceptions of what's possible, and we know ourselves enough to know the things that make us feel most alive, then we can just say, like, in a beautiful co-creation with the universe, more of that, please. Like, more of that, please. I love that. I love doing that retreat. That was awesome. Like, more of that, please. And we can see and feel the essence of how more of that would look and where that would take us. And that becomes not a manifestation practice, but the full utilization of our mind in co-creation with the divine, which is just like how we're meant to exist. Anyway,
Right.
it's just what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like creating a new baseline for your life, for yourself. And that's where the magic happens. And, it's funny, you said something earlier about miracles. Oh, I just lost it now. I had it typed up. There was a quote I saw the other day. Um, it said, "If you don't believe in miracles, you're spiritually dead and you're bad at science." And I just thought it was hilarious because, science always tries to explain a miracle, or they think that there's some formula for it, but that's where the magic occurs. It is not a formula for it. The formula is love, and the love is the projector that creates that reality where those miracles can happen. So it's just I believe in miracles and I've experienced them, and I feel like once you're on that frequency, they'll happen to you as well. But then again, your thoughts create your reality. So if you're at a lower frequency where you don't believe that's possible, then you might be it might be pretty rigid for you until you overcome that.
Yeah. And if anyone's listening that feels like they're in that rigid perspective where miracles aren't quite happening, then the crazy thing about this reality is it's literally just a mirror of everything that we need to experience and see and feel. The whole thing is a divine illusion orchestrated for you. So if you're feeling rigid like you're not receiving a miracle, then go for a walk and literally just curiously ask of the universe, of this great power that's birthed everything that you see into being. Ask of that energy, could I be shown a miracle today just to see if miracles are real? And see what happens. See what happens, but you've got to have your eyes open because it will be small. It will be the song that will come on that you haven't heard in years, and it was the song that used to make you feel like so whole and alive. And when you hear that song or that little raindrop of miracle, you better take that feeling into your heart and just hold it with so much gratitude for that moment of connection. And the more you do that, the more the miracles will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And all you keep doing is saying, thank you so bloody much for this beautiful moment. And the more you just open into that gratitude and open your eyes to see the miracle that's already there, the more they will just keep raining down.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I love that.
Well said.
You don't forget to ask. That's what we don't remember that all the time, even when we need help. We're on this planet to help each other. And I think, a therapist needs a therapist too. So we always need help, or no, we don't always need help, but it's always healthy to ask for help because you never know what somebody else might have to offer and how that could change your life. So ask for the miracles, ask for the guidance because it'll show up. Um, so over there in Australia, I'm just out of curiosity, like, are you what does the collective consciousness feel like to you over there? Is there like a grand awakening? Does it feel like it's happening more in America, or is it something like I'm just very curious on what your gauge is on the collective?
Yeah, well, I can speak into the collective, but I also give you an insight into my life. I live in a country town on 7.5 acres where I really don't need to leave my house if I don't want to because there's so many beautiful walks from where I live. But in this town that I live, I have not heaps of friends, to be honest, but a vast reaching community of very awakened people who are living from their heart, beautiful family people who are grounded and just connected to all that is real and true and what matters. And they're also committed to serving. And also the closest city to where I live is called Perth, the most isolated city in the world. So I live 4 hours drive from the most isolated city in the world. Um, that has so many awakened people. Perth is a hive of beautiful, high vibrational people. But the thing is with Australia, we know what a nice life is, you know? Poverty in Australia is not like poverty in the UK or even poverty in the US. Australia has a baseline of a very nice existence. Everyone lives near the beach. Everyone lives in a nice climate, and the quality of life is good. So what that breeds in Australia is joy and an easygoing mentality, but it also breeds like a complacency. So, when it's like, oh, we need to lock you all down because it's for your own safety, there's definitely like a general, okay, sure, this must be for my safety. So there's definitely like a complacency here. But also there is a joy and there's a lightness that also has quite a there's quite a high vibrational collective, I feel. And when I go to England, my extended family lives in London, and that's where I lived until I was 8. I definitely feel like a drop to what I'm used to, like a huge drop, like it feels sticky, like the matrix is thick. It
Oh, yeah,
doesn't feel like that in Australia.
yeah, London's pretty rough in that regard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you can go be in the matrix, but not of it, and you can observe it. And it's probably very interesting to go there and experience those frequencies and then come back out and like, I can breathe again.
Yeah. What blows my mind is that people, the choices that people are making, it's like there's infinite choices, and I have one cousin who's from London, and him and his family moved to Spain, and they like chose a whole 'nother reality, but they're the only ones.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so kind of take me through, okay, what you offer as far as I see your beautiful instruments back there and your singing bowls. What do you actually do? I know, are you an intuitive life coach? Intuitive Rebirth is your website, so maybe you can explain what that is and like what really, what that's encompasses.
Yeah, so everything that I described before at the beginning, where it was connecting psychically to people and taking them on a journey that basically sets them free, everything that I described about that is still very present in my life. But intuitive rebirth is a modality that I birthed to teach or train practitioners to be able to do that for others. Because what I saw is that so many practitioners and healers, they're like just collecting modalities and certificates, but actually have no genuine expression of their own authenticity within that, and still don't really know who they are or how they serve, despite having a collection of all these like breathwork, Reiki, whatever.
Right.
Right.
So, intuitive rebirth is like showing practitioners that you can channel, number one, and that if you set a really pure intention and spend some time in devotional prayer channeling for someone, you will be guided in a way that transcends any certificate on the wall. If you stop doubting yourself as a healer and you get super in your body and open as a channel and you just trust that, the work that you do will be profound. It will be deep and it will be life changing for the person who receives that. So, what I have created with Intuitive Rebirth is basically just like an initiation for how to hold this space for others. Like it's a modality, but the word modality also doesn't resonate with me because it's an activation. And then I don't do heaps of one-on-one sessions anymore because the majority of my life is with that teaching role. But if someone says to me, Rhiannon, I really need some help, I'll be like, come to my house. Come to my house, come to my cave. And so this space is really just for friends and family and friends of friends in the community who have been through big things, these big rattling life experiences. Mm, And what takes place in this space is beyond anything the mind can comprehend. And it's really deep shamanic work, and I don't know if you guys are super familiar with ayahuasca, but pretty much everything that I have learned has come through the teachings that I've received from her, from Mother Ayahuasca. And so my work is really like I'm a shamanic healer, and but minus the medicine.
So explain to me the ayahuasca. So this is something that's very fascinating, and plant medicine comes up a lot. So that basically everything that you're preaching now that understanding has come to you through ayahuasca. So how long have you been doing it, and how many times have you done it?
So it's about the last 3 years where my journey with ayahuasca started, and like you, Tyler, like I had some massive mushroom experiences. But it really feels like ayahuasca is my medicine because whenever I go into the mushroom realm, I feel like I'm visiting somewhere very foreign. Whenever I have ayahuasca, it's like I'm going home, you know? That's how it feels to me. And when I first started journeying with ayahuasca, the first ceremony, I think there's been maybe 15 or 16 ceremonies. The first ceremony was so nice and so beautiful, and I was like, "Let's do that again." And then from ceremony 2 onwards, they've been horrific. Horrific, because I remember, Aaron, you spoke about, fear is what controls most of us and makes us unable to step into that frequency of love. So the second journey was what really changed everything for me, because that journey was just fear. I just laid there thinking, I'm going to die. This is the worst shit I've ever done. I will never do this again. And the terror in my body was out of control. And I just laid there for hours, I think, like that. And until I realized, what if I stopped fearing my own fear? Like, what if I stopped fearing this fear and trying to run away from this fear? What would change? And when I started to contemplate that in the journey, then I realized that the fear was dissolving, because in my allowing, I was opening to love. And love was the medicine that transformed fear. So that was the fundamental teaching that allowed me to do the work that I do. Because when we go into the depths of the body, underneath all those human layers of shame and rage and sadness, we uncover or we expose those parasitic entities. And sometimes what happens is that entity is exposed to such a degree that it's in the room. What you see in the movie The Exorcism, like, that is a real thing that happens, where you can see this demon in the eyes, in the face, the presence is in the room turns dark. I hear I will hear, I don't even wanna say it, I will hear it speaking to me, "I'm gonna kill you," or whatever, and I will have this being looking at me through their body, like, very much in the space, and the natural feeling is obviously, like, terror within my body, but the reason that I can do this work is, now what I know that I need to do is I see into the eyes of that demon, and I keep my heart open, and I see that that demon is longing for liberation. I see that it is only produced off the back of pain and suffering, and then I keep my heart open. I say, I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. And then in that, there's freedom. The person usually vomits. There's a big change in the energy, and something shifts. So that's what ayahuasca taught me to do. And the more I've done ceremonies and gone in, I get messages, and I get trained by having these horror show faces and feelings come into my body and into my field. And it's like, what are you going to do about it, Rhiannon? And I'm like, and I open my heart, and I'm like, I see you, motherfucker, and I love you.
I I love that, because that is, there's no spiritual bypassing there. You're facing the darkness head on, and quite literally, even sometimes seeing it in the room and understanding, like, the root of that, right? And not playing victim to it. But I love that you go there, because I think that's where, like, wisdom is gained through experience. And you can't heal somebody of that or help them get through that unless you've experienced it. You can only help somebody to your own level of awareness and experience and consciousness. So once you've gone into those darkest depths of your soul, then therefore now you basically have got that degree or that certificate that allows you to help those other people, because you've been there. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So when you talk about it the way you just did, it's actually empowering and it's not feeding it. So there's a way to describe darkness without actually feeding it. And I think you did a beautiful job of doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, I have been definitely taken into the darkest spaces of my own psyche and of the collective psyche. And I don't know if you guys have experienced before, but before is also something that I resonate with really deeply. It's like toad medicine, you know,
Okay.
5-MeO, DMT.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, I've
yeah,
done DMT, yeah, okay.
yeah. So there was one journey I had with that where it was like literally the fear again. It was like the fear of the collective through my whole body, and I thought I was gonna die, and it was like Freemason symbols and devil horns, and it was like something from a nightmare. But again, it was like heart open, and then the Freemason symbols would transform into like a Merkaba, and the devil horns would transform into these little deer like eating grass. And that's what I've been shown like time and time and time again. So there's not too much now that that I touch wood, like, don't test me, but there's not too much now that scares me. Definitely not energetically, and I feel like so many of us are being trained in this way because at the top, we all have these parasites within us, like these feet of the spiders, right? Stretching into all of our bodies, but the head of the spider is being exposed. And it is quite the beast. And I feel like there are a number of people on this earth that do very much what I do, and there's like on a collective level, on a group level, there is like a shamanic takedown of the head of the spider that we're being trained for.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of the, like, Masonic symbols and stuff like that, it's really interesting. A good friend of mine, he's a or I call him an earth angel. Like, I've seen him perform miracles. He does crazy stuff, but he can see very well. He's a seer also. And one of the things I learned from him is that he'll see those symbols in people's fields, and even they might not even be a Freemason, or they might not be part of the society or the occult, but somebody in their lineage and their family was, and somebody in that bloodline took the oath, and those oaths are generational. So when he sees people walking around with their symbols in their energy body, they have some, if it's not them that is in the order, they have some ancestral healing to do to break that oath. Otherwise, it's like a generational curse, quite literally,
Mhm.
that will cause that person to basically, for one, like, maintain the oath and maintain whatever the order would like that person to do, but also, like, they just keep repeating the same lessons and traumas until you break free. You know what ancestral healing is, but it's interesting to me that you saw the symbols, and I wonder if there's somebody in your family who maybe took that oath.
No, like, no. And your earth angel friend, I can relate really deeply to what he sees and um, experiences. So I definitely don't think there's anyone in my lineages that took the oath. Just knowing a lot about my lineages. On my mum's side, it's like it's very North Welsh where it's very rural, and on my dad's side, it's Cockney, it's London, and it's definitely from like, it's poverty, you know, it's not the people who would have been invited.
Right.
And, so there's definitely not in my family, but the more we heal, we're healing not just ourselves, not just our past lives, future lives, we're not just healing our ancestry, we're healing literally collective.
Mm.
We're healing it all, so it's an aspect of me. Everything, all darkness externally, even though it's not in my lineage, is an aspect of me that must be faced. Any fear or darkness in this matrix must be faced within myself. And like we've heard the term radical responsibility, but it's like to heal this earth and to transform this earth, we need to take that all the way, the whole way, where we can meet the pain of genocide within our own bodies, where we can meet the fear of these bloodlines within our own bodies. And it sounds extreme, but that's how we become the embodiment of love. And that is how that control structure shatters from the inside out.
Oh, beautiful. 100%. Yeah. Like we do
Absolutely.
take on the pain of the collective sometimes. And sometimes it's by design as well. They want people to get caught in those airwaves and like suffer for they don't even know why they're suffering because they're picking up on that collective frequency, right? So it's used against us, but it also can we can use it against them by saying, oh, well, oh, look at this. What's coming into my field? I can transmute that and heal it. So it's really interesting. Like I'm glad you brought in that aspect because yeah, it might not mean your lineage is took the oath, but like the collective obviously has taken some sort of oath. So we have if we have the option or the ability to like transmute that, then it's beautiful.
Yeah, and as we do, because it's like, why the hell would I want to feel that within my body, you know? Surely that's too much. But there's no need to, like, go out and push to feel and heal the trauma of the entire world in one go, like, that would be a ridiculous and not advisable thing to do.
Mm. Right.
Because we're guided one layer at a time to just feel what's necessary and present within us. And often these external stimulus, like these things that are happening in the world around us, they trigger feelings within us. You know, and I know a lot of people right now are like deeply saddened by what's happening in the world with war and pain and people are really connected to the suffering of others and it brings up a lot. But when that happens, we've just got to like ask the question like where is this for me in my body? Like, what do I need to feel here within my body? And when we feel that without attaching to the story, we just feel the organic trigger. That's how we heal ourselves with full radical responsibility and also start to peel away at that collective pain as well.
Mm. Yeah. Spot on. I love it. This conversation has been so enlightening. I know the audience. There's a lot of take. They'll love this, and there's a lot of takeaways from it. And it's just amazing that we found each other. I'm not sure how the whole thing happened, but we're here doing this, and everything happens for a reason. So we just can't thank you enough for everything that you do. We're coming up on the hour here. Is there anything in particular that you're feeling guided to share, or anything that kind of has been surfacing for you that we haven't covered today?
Yeah, I guess like as I just closed my eyes, I was just really like feeling into your audience and everyone that's listening and everyone that's listening, I feel that you're so deeply on the path, like you're not beginners, you know what's going on, and there's an energy that's coming through this year and next year that is very intense and it's a fast tracking. So I just wanted to give a message of comfort because like what you shared, Tyler, about everything that you've had to go through with your life changing so quickly and you needing to trust and surrender, that is happening now en masse to everyone that is committed to themselves and to a beautiful earth. So just like wanted to close this beautiful conversation with just a message of surrender because we're no longer in a stage of our existence where we need to hustle more, work harder, like strive more. It's like, how much can you just let go? How much can you just trust? How much can you just give over the reins of control and allow yourself to be held? Because every single person who is still resonant with this conversation and listening, like you are a remarkable human being. Your heart is so pure. You are so full of love and wisdom. And all you need to do is just give over the need to control. And you're going to be taken somewhere so extraordinary on this beautiful life. And we're going to create a paradise together.
That was amazing.
Beautifully
Thank you
said.
so much. Um,
That's
I love it. I love this entire conversation. It was a beautiful message. And Aaron, any last words from you before we wrap this up?
no, thank you so much. Yeah, everything you said was beautiful and amazing and spot on. So, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us and our audience.
Yeah, and I love that what you said about the audience being like deeply connected, and they understand what's going on. They're not beginners, and I feel that, and we've been doing this for quite some time, and we've grown a lot, and I think the audience grows with us. So I do want to just give a shout out to the audience and the people who have been with us from the beginning, who have stuck through. It's stuck with us. It's not an easy road, and there's a lot of ups and downs. But if you're still here with us, and you support us every week, we can't do this without you. We absolutely love you, and I mean it when I say we can't do it without you. You're the only reason this machine, this thing works. So we appreciate that you tune in every week, and we love you, and we hope to see you at one of our events one day, and we just can't thank you enough. And thank you so much, Rhiannon, for joining us today. Please let the audience know one last time how they can find you.
Oh my God, guys, you're so amazing. This was honestly one of my favorite. I'm gonna call it and say I think it was my favorite chat I've ever had.
Aw.
So yeah, it was, because I just love the depth that you go to, like, straight away, and I've been really calling in spaces to have these conversations, and I'm super, super grateful for you guys. So thank you for everything that you're doing and for being who you are. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
Thank you.
okay, and yeah, if anyone on the who's listening feels resonant with me or would like to learn more about intuitive rebirth, then just come to intuitiverebirth.com, and you can get 10% off the practitioner training with the code community. So if you want to just use that code, and if you want to just connect with me on social media, then it's Rhiannon Heins with an _ or intuitive rebirth.
Beautiful. And those links will be below in the description as well. And thank you so much. This was an honor, and this was one of my favorite conversations we've had in a while too, because this is the real stuff. This is deep.
Yeah.
Always, we can always count on these episodes to have the least amount of viewers, because people they want you to shoot off fireworks and talk about spaceships and reptilians and all that stuff. But this is the real stuff. And
Clickbaity, wowing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you get deep, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, I'll skip."
But the people who show
the people that do watch it, the comments are amazing, and it's like, it's a smaller, but it's powerful.
Right.
And
I mean,
people that need to hear will hear it.
Think about it. You're scrolling. You're like, wow, 3-eye atlas, UFOs, weather manipulation, heal, and you're like, skip. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
Love
get it.
is the ultimate truth. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was too boring.
Right.
But we put out a frequency with this message, and it attracts those people, and that creates a ripple effect regardless of the size of the audience. So it's a beautiful thing we're doing anyway. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. This was amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you, and until next time, have a great evening. Good night. Hey guys, Journey to Truth is going to Hawaii. Join us in 2026 for Journey to Truth's first ever vacation conference on the Big Island at the beautiful Queen Emma Community Center in Kona. Enjoy Hawaii as we travel to sacred sites and connect with our Lemurian past and reactivate the land. It's time to get our bodies moving and take a boots on the ground approach to the awakening. We'll also be making a trip to Volcano National Park to pay our respect to Pele, the goddess of fire. We'll then journey to the water for an ocean adventure with our multi-dimensional aquatic family. We'll gear up and head to the harbor as we set sail under the sun for an activating day on the water while we experience the Hawaiian ocean life like never before. Enjoy Hawaiian sunsets and walks on the beach while connecting with Soul Family and learning a few things from our amazing lineup of speakers. Aloha! Grab your ticket today at journeytotruth.online and join us for this once-in-a-lifetime activating getaway.